on this trip is the way Mother Nature made it. Over the years, there have been so many movies filmed here by Hollywood that we decided to dedicate our first spring to the movie industry. We'll be coming into it in just a second, and we call it the Spring of the Stars. In fact, if you look out my front door up there, as I turn, you can see the spring from here. See that beautiful pasture blue ahead of us?
This is spring.
Nice bass right here, largemouth bass. And this big gray fish right below us, those are saltwater mullet. They come here all the way from the Atlantic. Even though they're saltwater fish, they're able to adjust to the fresh water, and when they come to see us, they stay a long time, about 3 or 4 months. This is the second largest spring in the river too, and the deepest part is right at this cave I'm turning on. Right in front of this cave is 34 feet deep. That cave is also where one of the springs is entering the river. The water's coming out from underneath there right this second and entering below us. Lots and lots of movies filmed here. Moonraker, which was a James Bond movie, was filmed on the river. Smokey and the Bandit Part 3. If anybody remembers a movie called The Creature from the Black Lagoon, that creature came right out of that cave down here. That was his home. Johnny Weissmuller also made the Tarzan movies here. Sea Hunt with Lloyd Bridges, that was made here. But probably the one that kids might know would be Tom Cruise. He was here about 7 years ago and he filmed a movie here called Legend. There were so many movies filmed here that I think the only one that was not filmed here that really should have been was The Glass Bottom Boat with Doris Day.
Yep.
This is coming over the next spring now, and this one is called The Abyss. If you look down into this spring, way down deep in this one, there's a lighter colored limestone ledge. You can make out that second ledge down to that one is as deep as a 7-story building is tall. 81 feet straight down. It's the deepest spring in the entire river. Now we do have one captain here that says that is not so, that it's a lot deeper than that. He swears that every morning right over there on the bank he sees raccoons eating Chinese fortune cookies. Next one we're going to isn't so deep, but it's a beautiful spring. It's called the Florida Snowstorm. What looks like snow in this spring is really pieces of snail shell that have gathered here over the years. This whole river bottom is made out of limestone, snail shells, and sand. This is also one of the big springs. We have 14 major and over 100 minor springs, and when you add those all together, you come up with 834 million gallons of water flowing out of here every day.
Yeah.
Cute little bird right there with the turtles. Alligators are the only thing on this entire river that we are not allowed to feed, though. They have to take care of their own needs, and I am so glad. They don't need any help anyway. They do a very good job on their own. Years ago, the captains fed them. They used to bring marshmallows to them, and the alligators loved those marshmallows. They started to follow our boats. One day, one of the captains stopped in a spring to show something, and one of the really big alligators back then came right in here, put his head by that motor, and opened his mouth. And that is what they decided they weren't going to feed him anymore. Nowadays, it's a law. You can't feed them even if you wanted to. They say if you feed an alligator, they lose their fear of you, and that's when they get twice as dangerous. Coming up underneath here is one of my very favorite things in the river. This big, what looks like a tree, is an Indian's dugout canoe. The University of Florida dated that for us, and that canoe goes back to 700 AD. They told us it was a fire canoe though, and that the Indians actually use that boat to move their fire from one village to another along the river. Gonna stay down there in the shape that we're seeing it practically forever because of the kind of water we have. Constant temperature and the limestone in the water make a natural preservative.
Hey, Payne,
More mullet? Bass? Hopefully we'll see some bass in this next spring. This is where the bass really like to hang out the most. And this is also the spring my passengers say is the prettiest. It's called the Blue Grotto. Oh, before we go there, kids, look over here on my right. We got a little raccoon looking for lunch. Raccoons are nocturnal animals. They're supposed to be sound asleep during the daytime, but these raccoons are smart. Doesn't take them very long to figure it out. They stay awake all day, we'll feed them all day. Oh, there's a bass, folks. Let's see if I can turn on them again. Oh, can't get back over there quick enough. If you look down, right down here below you, you can see a lot of action in this spring. That's limestone and snail shells getting pushed around by the water coming out of the spring.
Got a whole bunch of mullet right there.
I know there are. I'm going to show them to you in a second. The reason the springs are so much bluer than the rest of the river is due to all this extra limestone being pushed up. When light hits limestone water, it gives off that pretty color. Lovely bass. Another bass?
I don't know what those are.
No, these are the mullet. What they're doing is they're waiting for me to do what I'm supposed to do, and they're getting tired of me fooling around here, so I better do it. You folks on the left will stand up for a minute, and you folks over here stay sitting. I'll be able to show you what they think of our bread. Watch this bread.
No butter on it.
This is Silver Springs fast food restaurant, though. Look at them go through that bread. When they first come from the ocean, of course, they don't even know what bread is, so it does take them a few days before they'll try it. But once they try it, we got them.
Sam?
You got it. Our raccoons actually should be little fat piglets by now, because if I go over the tree, keep on looking down to the bottom of the river and you can see a huge cypress rowboat at the bottom. I'm just working my boat over its starboard gunnel too. If you follow that gunnel right up to the very front of my boat, you'll see the bow. It's going to come into view in just a second. That's a big rowboat, but this boat was never carbon dated like the canoes were, or the canoe was. On that bow, you'll see it has brass fittings though, and that tells us that it's not Indian. Other than that, it's a guess, but their guess is Spanish, and that's certainly possible. It's the Spanish who found us. Spanish also named us. In Spanish, Florida means land of flowers. Top of the cave is right below us. Water that's coming out of here right this second is enough water to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool in 2 minutes. 550 million gallons every 24 hours. They say that's enough water to take care of a city about the size of New York every day. This cave is enormous though. It's 12 feet high and it's 65 feet wide. Oh, guess what, kids? You're going to see a scuba diver. This cave is being explored right now, and the divers, when they come out of there, have got to stay laying right down here for a while until their air adjusts. If you look in my front glass, you can see them there. See, kids? Those are the explorers. Those explorers have been here a long time, about 3 months. They found a lot of stuff down there. They found mastodon teeth, arrowheads, fossils. In fact, a couple of things were so old they didn't know how far back it went, so they sent it off to the Smithsonian. The main cave explorer is going to map the the springs for us because they've never been mapped before. The other one is a biologist, and then there is a geologist that go down with them too. Yeah, that was kind of neat. You don't often get to see the scuba divers around here. They have gotten back, the last time I talked to them, which was quite a while ago, they had gotten back about 500 feet. There's a spot that they go through every single time they go in there that is so tight, though, that they have to take those scuba tanks off. They push those in first, then they wiggle in afterwards and get dressed again back inside.
No.
Which to me sounds so scary. Before we go back in, I want you to see the statues right below us. These were brought here years and years ago for a TV show. It was called I Spy, and it starred Bill Cosby and Robert Culp. After I Spy, they used him in Moonraker too. If any of you remember the scene where Roger Moore wrestles a big snake underneath the water, they're down there in that scene.
Yeah.
And that snake he wrestled came from this park, and it was so big, it took 4 men to carry that snake over here. And I think it took 8 men to get Roger over here to wrestle him. Last show those were ever used in was a $6 million man. Now we're back where we started, so that does bring an end to the tour, but it's one pretty river to tour, isn't it?
Sure is.
You enjoy the rest of your day with us. Get to as much as you can, because I think you're going to enjoy every bit of it.